So here you can see the system is going to reboot. And of course, it's going to make sure that you remove any floppy disks that are in your computer, but you do not need to remove the CD. See, the CD only boots if you press any key if it detects anything on the hard drive. Since there's stuff on the hard drive and I didn't press any key, it's going to go ahead and boot into the hard drive. And you'll see the Server 2003 loading screen. And we'll boot right up into the final installation steps. Really, there's nothing you need to do yet, as it's just kind of doing its thing. Alright, after the initial copies have finished and the configuration has been written, you're going to be prompted with some regional and language options. And your settings here pretty much depend exclusively on where you're at. If they don't say the right thing from the beginning, you can click these Customize and Detail buttons to change the settings. For example, if you were in Great Britain, you'd come in and hit the Customize button and select, English, UK, and then it would change the currency and all of that. Then, of course, you would change the location. Same thing goes with keyboard layouts. If you're not using a standard keyboard, or if this keyboard layout here isn't correct, then you're going to want to change that. But usually it's going to be correct. The next screen is going to ask you for your name and the name of the company. And sometimes companies decide that they should use some different kind of things to, save on licensing or whatever. And they just don't want people's names in here. So I'm going to name all of my servers Server Crowd. And I'm going to leave the organization blank. The next thing it's going to ask you for is your product key. And I hope you have one. I do, but I'm not sharing it. So we enter our product key and hit Next. Then you're going to be prompted for your licensing mode. And this is basically going to ask you what licensing mode you're going to be using. Oh, big surprise there. I'm going to use per user licensing because I have my TechNet Plus subscription, and that gives me a one user license on an basically unlimited number of boxes. You're going to want to pick one that coincides with your licensing. The next thing you're going to need to put in is a server name. And remember, we're going to name this server 01. And you're going to need to set an administrator password. Here are the suggested password criteria. It needs to be at least 6 characters. Can't contain administrator or admin. Needs to have both uppercase and lowercase letters, numbers, and non-alphanumeric characters. I don't really care. This is a lab machine. So I'm just going to hit yes. I'll stick with the password that I gave you. If you're doing it for work, you should really have a strong administrator password. Then you're going to select your time zone and make sure the date and time is set correctly. And then click Next. System's going to go ahead and prepare the network connections.